There is a toolbar. User recipe system. This is the main interface. Toolbar. The manual interface is X, Y move. On the right is the track height adjustment. You don't want to be so troublesome, just click to move faster. Track width adjustment is to debug the PCB width, make it wider or narrower. This is an orbital reset. Generally, there is no need to reset unless you manually pull the belt. This is the camera light source. When I debug the light source outside, or when I go to engrave, we use the first normal light source. But here the brightness of the light source does not change the program. The lighting of the program should be debugged in the program. This is to debug the external light source. If you want to adjust the brightness of the light source in the program, it must be in the formula and then enter the program to adjust it. This is loading the PCB, that is, entering a PCB. Uninstalling the PCB means flowing the PCB out. This is a PCB support cylinder. The switch of the camera, click to display black. This is magnifying glass. Just zoom in a little bit to make it easier to view. This is to log out of the account you are logged into now. Log in, we have to log in every time we turn it on. You need to set permissions for others. You should not use this manufacturer permission. You have to add different permissions to others. Add an engineering account. You set your own name and password. AMD account is the highest authority. I added an engineering account. Engineering permission. Password 123. OK, select the engineer's permission item. For example, give the engineer these permissions and then click OK. Follow the options in the video and select the corresponding permissions. After the setup is completed, add an administrator permission again. For example, I add an administrator, I give him an administrator permission. Administrator permission password 1234. This is set by yourself. The authority of this administrator is already the same as that of our manufacturer. But the administrator's authority cannot modify our manufacturer's authority. Administrator privileges may add additional personnel privileges. Administrative authority is also the highest authority. You'd better use the corresponding permissions, because the more permissions you have, the more you can modify. If you don't understand the machine system, don't modify the system parameters, otherwise the machine will be unusable. Modifying machine system parameters with manufacturer privileges causes the machine to malfunction. Administrator, all permissions are given. Now I am logged in with my admin account. I created an administrator with all permissions. Okay, I can log into the administrator in the future. I don't need to log into admin. This is admin 1234. Administrators can also add other members. It just can't change the manufacturer's admin. Don't give them user administrative privileges and manage all permissions. If given user management, he can add or delete users. If the engineer has these two permissions, he can remove the administrator permissions. So engineers do not choose these two permissions. It is recommended that engineers only have so many permissions. You can also add these two permissions if the engineer needs to use advanced setup and calibration of the machine. But engineers will definitely not give users administrative privileges. Without selecting a project, the engineer cannot operate it. This customization is for MES systems. It is connected to the MES system. This is the customization. Because engineers do not need to use the settings, they do not have this permission. You see, if the permissions are insufficient, this customization is not available. Password 1234. This loading means to open the program. All programs you make will be displayed here. What product you want to produce, you need to load the program from here. This edit is to edit the current program. This is to save the current program. Suppose we need to engrave product today, we click Load, and then select Program A. Open a different program, click Load, and then select the program we need. For example, the previous program has already carved 19, and I don't want to start with 19 now. I click on the editor, I start with 100. Then Saved. This is the editing program, editing name, work order. I want to copy a program, I click Edit, change the name, click Save, and I copy a program. This program copies. Click Load to see if there are more A18-1 programs. That's how you copy the program. I reopened the A18 program. This is the through mode, that is, the PCB is not engraved, and the PCB is in the through mode. This is the I/O signal state of the machine. These are the machine's I/O signals. The current status of the signal. Security gates, tracks and other sensors are all here. Why doesn't the machine close the door and can't engrave? It's this sensor that didn't trigger. You trigger this sensor and it goes live. This is the deceleration sensor, the limit sensor for this orbit. The deceleration sensor is underneath this PCB, the signal status of the upper and lower processing machines. This emergency stop signal. This is a stop sensor. This is under the PCB. These are the X/Y limit sensors. Cooler working signal. If the sensor of the chiller does not light up, the machine will alarm. These are the status of the machine's indicator lights. This is the buzzer. These are the displays of the current signal. The engraving record is the content engraved by all your programs. All your programs and data are here. For example, A18 program 123 work order, the engraving content is here. If you repeatedly engrave anything from 1 to 18, the machine will alert you. Because the machine has engraved it before, this is to delete the engraved data. Suppose we delete this data, and it's no longer in the database. If we then input this data back into the program, the machine will proceed with the engraving. What is this deletion? It's for this work order. For example, this work order has a lot of PCB engraving data. If you delete the ticket, all the data in the ticket will be deleted. This deletion is to delete a certain piece of data. This is data export. The exported data is the data in the exported ticket. A program may correspond to many different work orders, because the PCB board is the same, but different work orders and batches of products may have different engraving contents. Give this data a name. File format CSV. After saving, it exports the data of this work order. Let's take a look. We open the ticket and check the data content of the engraving. Let's take a quick look. If the QR code is incomplete or cannot be read, the machine will issue an alarm and display NG. We continue to introduce the software. This is the log. This is the working information of the machine. When something happens to the machine, it will be displayed here. You double-click here and it will open as a notepad. Double-click here to open it as notepad, which can be copied at this time. You can also search. You are in the software, you can just see it. These are some of the machine's parameter settings. These are the factory settings. You shouldn't modify them. This is a buzzer. Generally, it is a machine alarm, so it needs to be turned on. Automatic account cancellation. This refers to how long after logging in the account will be automatically cancelled. You'll need to log in again next time you use it. These settings are already configured. Do not modify them. These parameters have been set before the machine leaves the factory. Do not modify them. These parameters must not be modified. When operating the machine later, if you don't understand anything, you can contact us. It is forbidden to delete the engraving patch data and disable the engraving function. If you choose this option, you cannot add the carving data. If you need to change to other languages such as English, you can do so here. After switching languages, restart the software. This is to test whether the laser is turned on when engraving. Bad PCB boards do not carry out engraving data. Assume there are 6 panels in a PCB. The 4th panel is defective. If the 4th defective board is skipped without engraving, should the QR code data on the 4th board also be skipped? If no selection is made, then the defective board will occupy 1 barcode information. The default setting is selected and does not consume barcode information. This is the picture of saving the QR code. This is to save all the pictures. This only saves images where QR code recognition failed. If the machine fails to recognize the image, it will save the image. The previous option is to save all images, which will take up disk space. This customization is connected to the MES system. Other functions are almost unnecessary. Okay, that's all the settings. This is the main interface. This is start, stop, 1 cycle stop. It will automatically stop after the PCB engraving is completed. Click this button to stop when the machine is finished engraving. This is reset. Every time you log in, you have to click this reset. The machine needs to be reset back to its original position before it can work. After the machine is turned on, log into the corresponding permissions, click reset, and the machine can only work when it returns to the origin position. This recipe interface is mainly a function used by the production program. You can program, modify the program, and change the parameters all in the recipe interface. These movements, lighting, loading, etc., are the same as the main interface. Here is the new program, creating a new template. We are going to make templates, barcodes, and QR code data here. If this is a program that is currently in use, and the template appears incorrect, such as a barcode or QR code, we need to modify the template by making changes elsewhere. We should not modify the template here. Even if you modify the template, the changes will not take effect. When modifying a program, we cannot make changes here. We can only create a new program here. We need to modify it in the existing program. Click it. Click here to enter. Change parameters here. The path location is saved differently here. This is where the program is saved. This is a template method for modifying an existing program. This is how to change the program template. This is used when creating a new program, when creating a new template, here. We made a new QR code template, which we saved here. This folder is used to store the barcode QR code template data. If you open a saved template, it will not affect the template in the previously used program. Because the previous program has copied this template to the program folder, it will not be affected if it is modified now. If we now choose this template from here when we create a new program, then this template has already been fixed. What I mean is, this is the folder used for storing templates. When you create a new program, we can call upon these templates here. Upon saving the program, the template data will be copied into the new program folder. After creating a new program and loading the recipe template, this template will be copied into this program. Then I modified this template within the programming without affecting the previous templates. Check the template storage location. This recipe is the folder used to store the program. These are programs. Open. This is the whole picture of the PCB. This is the work order. This is the template. These two are templates for A18. This is the program file. These are the program components. This MarkPen folder is used to save templates. Our newly created templates are saved in this folder. After we load the template, click Save Program, and the template will be copied to the Programs folder. Therefore, if you modify the template file, it will not affect the template in the program. Assuming that the A18 program loads the A18 template, the A18-1 program can also load the A18 template, and their modifications in the program will not be affected. If we need to modify the template, we need to modify the template in the program. When we click Edit, the machine loads the PCB. The PCB is now loaded. The machine automatically recognizes the mark and scans the template and display the simulated QR code template. What I moved is the simulated QR code template, and what is shown below is the actual engraving by the machine. You can see that the QR code template has been modified and the size has become larger. We can also change this QR code to a barcode. Next, let's demonstrate that the QR code in the program is changed to a barcode. Click Programs and then click Edit Template Information. Click this to edit. Delete the QR code and create a new barcode. We can also add corresponding letters and other codes next to the QR code. Let's demonstrate how to add text next to a QR code. Click on this text. Place it in the designated location and click the mouse. Enter your desired character content here. You type in the number, you tap somewhere else, and it comes out. If you want to display the content of the QR code, you can choose to customize it. Select Associated with Main Barcode. For example, if I wanted to display the entire content of the QR code, I would select All. If I only wanted to display a portion, I would select only that portion. What content do you need? You can choose the appropriate content. In this way, the QR code has changed, and the outside content has also changed at the same time. When engraving, the QR code changes, and the outside content also changes. This interface is for editing templates, and the content of this template is designed according to your requirements. Template editing is introduced here. We will now introduce other content. If the marking point is misidentified and the machine issues an alarm, how should we handle it? Mark point and coordinate offset problems are to be modified in the program. We're going to click Edit and then modify the content. Because you can only enter the program after clicking this edit. We click Edit first, and then the PCB will be automatically delivered to the stopper position. Then automatically identify to marks. Suppose I want to change a mark. We click on the first mark, the machine will automatically move to the mark position. Click on the shape template, and the header starts moving. I don't want to use circles as marks now, I want to change to other shapes. Click Move to select the target point. Click on the shape template to select the target as the marking point. I chose one corner as a mark. The modification has been completed. You can see that changes have been made here. This is the second mark. This has changed the mark. Then click Save Programs. Click Save. We check if the mark is valid, we click Edit. You see, the first marking point has changed, it's no longer a circle, you see here. After recognizing the two marks, the software automatically generates a QR code template. We need to check whether the template positioning of these QR codes is appropriate, and if there is an offset problem, we use the WASD of the keyboard to fine-tune the movement. If we want to check the second mark position, we can select the second mark and click Move. This video introduction ends here. If you don't understand anything, welcome to contact us. www.jhimes.com